Well, Sam Raimi's back to direct another Marvel movie in another universe, which is about multiverses. Oh, let's talk about Doctor Strange 2. What up, guys? Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers, and thanks for coming back with some more popcorns. I'm still over here at this awesome bar, which is actually at my mom and my stepdad's house. I'm house sitting for them. Well, I've got my spoiler discussion video out here on the channel with my partner Andrew, but I just thought I'd give a quick non-spoiler review right now of Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. And man, I loved it. I thought it was great. Sam Raimi's directing it after a long little kind of switch of directors they had, because Scott Derrickson, the guy who directed Sinister and has that new movie coming out called The Black Phone, he directed the first Doctor Strange. He was supposed to direct this one too, but he was having creative differences with Marvel about where they should go with the story, and ultimately they decided to part ways with him, and they got Sam Raimi to do it. I think that was a good idea, because I think Sam Raimi made this more of a Doctor Strange movie, and he added this fun comic booky horror element to it that was my favorite part of the film. Which leads me to the next thing. This movie is the MCU's darkest film yet, no question. I mean, it literally feels like Evil Dead with some Marvel characters in it. The imagery and the scariness that's involved and stuff like that throughout the film, I mean, I'm telling you, not sure I would take little kids to see this one either, because I mean, look, it's really dark. It's got some twisted stuff, so much to where it's got the Book of the Dead in there. I love it. Sam Raimi's like, all right, if you want me to direct this immediately, I want the Necronomicon in there. They don't call it that, but that's what it is. So right away, I'm loving that. And speaking of Evil Dead and the Necronomicon, there's this phenomenal cameo with Bruce Campbell in there where it's literally like a throwback to Evil Dead. Look, Bruce Campbell is in all of Sam Raimi's movies. If he's not the star of them, Sam Raimi finds a way to make a cameo for him somehow. I mean, he was all three of the original Spider-Man movies as a different character every time, but just a little short stint. It's really fun, you know what I'm saying? And in this one, he does not disappoint. Might be my favorite Bruce Campbell cameo yet in a Sam Raimi film. So while this is a very Sam Raimi movie with the Bruce Campbell cameo and the horror elements too, it still is an MCU film involving the characters you know. And they involve a bunch of new characters like America Chavez. Normally when they introduce these characters really quickly, especially like on the Disney Plus shows, it kind of is just like, man, you just inserted them in real quick. But this one, the way she's inserted in, it makes sense for her characters because of the way her powers work. I'm not going to explain anything on that because, like I said, this is a non-spoiler review, but man, it's really dope the way they put her in there, and she's in the movie a lot, and you care about her. I thought she did a really good job, and she's played by a girl named, bear with me, I know I'm gonna get this one wrong, Xochitl Gomez? I think I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm messing it up, girl, but you did a great job in this movie. I loved your character. I thought you were funny. In fact, some of the best comic relief moments in this movie were her. This movie is also full of some cameos that are integral to the storyline, but remember, it's a multiverse movie, so I don't want to say any more, but it does have that, and it is pretty fun payoff. Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job again as Stephen Strange, but he's great in everything he does. Elizabeth Olsen is still great as Wanda, and Wanda's in this movie a lot. In fact, she's the villain. That's not spoiling anything. You found that out pretty quickly. But she's definitely peaked as her arc now as the Scarlet Witch, and they talk about all that, like, because this movie is full of witchcraft, and like I said, the Book of the Dead, or in this they call it the Book of the Damned. But it gets crazy. It's full of madness. I mean, they chose the perfect title with Multiverse of Madness in this. Rachel McAdams as Christine again in this. I just thought that I don't know, she just didn't impress me all that much. Not dogging on her, I love her. You just have to see the movie and maybe you'll agree with what I'm saying. And while I still did love Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda, there were a couple of choices here and there that I was just kind of like, I don't know if I like the way she's behaving right now. I just would have expected her, considering what's going on here in the plot, which I'm not going to spoil, but I felt like she should just be more pissed. But anyways, that's just a little minor thing. Overall, she still did her job as Wanda and as the Scarlet Witch, finally. Overall, I really did love this movie. I had a great time with it. I thought it was a great installment in Sam Raimi's catalog and into the MCU catalog. It's a horror movie, an MCU horror movie. We haven't gotten that before. My only really full complaint about this movie is not necessarily even about the movie. It's more about the MCU moving forward. I kind of feel like that before Endgame, all the Marvel movies leading up to Endgame, I could tell people that weren't comic book fans, weren't comic book movie fans, I could be like, look, I know you don't like comic book movies, but you gotta go check this movie out. You gotta go check out Ant-Man, you know, or you gotta go check out Civil War, Winter Soldier, or Iron Man, you know what I'm saying? Even my mom was going to see Endgame in the theater with me and loved it. I feel like that those movies, up until Endgame, could be appreciated by everyone, even if you weren't a comic book movie fan. Like some of them even had like Oscar capability, in my opinion. But now, with the exception of like Spider-Man, of course, because everybody loves Spider-Man, I do feel like that, especially this new Doctor Strange movie and like Eternals and Shang-Chi, you have to be a comic book fan, you have to be a comic book movie fan to really enjoy these movies. Like if you're just the casual that doesn't really like comic book movies, I don't think you're going to enjoy these movies. But like I said, leading up to Endgame, all the MCU film you could show to non-comic book fans and they would love it. So that's what I'm just saying. And that goes for the Disney Plus shows as well. I mean, I'm okay on the Disney Plus shows. I don't think they're all that. I think WandaVision was awesome, but that's another thing. If you watch this movie and you didn't see WandaVision, you're not going to know what's going on. You really aren't. You're not going to understand why Wanda's mad. I know that's their intention going forward, and they want to like intertwine everything as far as the Disney Plus shows with the films, and I'm cool with that because I'm invested. I'm a nerd. I'm a Marvel fan. But to those that are just the casual movie watchers, I think that they're sort of over the MCU at this point. And now they're making these movies for comic book movie fans. So I give Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, a B+. It's a great Marvel film. It's really fun, has a lot going on. The effects are great, all that stuff. But the movies just aren't moving me emotionally like they used to. Well, that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can help us make it to the top. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh popcorns.